So a bunch of stuff's went on. I had to go to court this morning. I've been fighting over a rental for, Lord, 3 years now. And we settled today. It didn't go well. I ended up probably about half my money back. And what happened, I guess the guy passed away and his family wouldn't abide by our agreement. Then they were trying to say that he would have never sold the house for this amount or this or that, or it's only worth so much and all this. But either way, they ended up, I ended up rekilling about half my money. I hadn't got it yet, but they're supposed to pay about half of it back. So I guess it's better than a total loss. But I mean, I had a contract with the guy signed. I mean, the whole shebaz, you know, the terms, the agreement. She took a bunch of my payments after the dad had passed away. Whole big loan drug out 3 or 4 years, and finally made it to court today, and they're only going to let me get about half my money back through court. So I guess it's better than a total loss. It's, yeah, pretty big lick I lost. But anywho, with the 240, we got started on it, and I went ahead, we pulled the clutch out. Anyway, the clutch kit's bad. We couldn't get it to bleed out. We changed some parts on the clutch stuff. The guy I got it from, he had tried to change the master cylinder, slave cylinder, the line, all that. The line was leaking, so we fixed that. And I finally just decided we're pulling the transmission entirely, and we ended up doing that. Ronnie, thanks for helping me. Ronnie helped me get it out yesterday. And it just ultimately boils down to that just the clutch is worn out. The pressure plate looked bad. It didn't have, like, so the outside, the fingers in it weren't like, you know, usually they're this way. They were like almost recessed. So I think that clutch has got hot. The flywheel had some real bad scorch marks on it. And I went ahead and got just a Duralast factory replacement for now, just to be able to drive the car and, you know, see the function and see what the car will need overall. Plus we'll get to drift this weekend possibly if everything else is okay. The transmission has a ton of nastiness in it, so I'm going to try to clean that out. I'm going to have to figure out how to flush it or something. It's pretty nasty inside here. But yeah, we got to go through that, and may have problems with a drive shaft. I'm not really sure what's going on here, but the aluminum drive shaft is kind of hanging on the tail shaft a little bit, it's got like the circle piece, so the aluminum goes all the way in, and so it's like hitting that piece of that drive shaft. It's kind of odd. So I have to figure that out. It's almost like the rear end's too far forward, or the drive shaft's just too long. Yeah, we just have to figure it out. But I'm gonna clean the transmission, may have to just flush it, may have to run a whole cycle of fluid through it and just change it as quick as I do that, because it's pretty nasty. It's got metal shavings in it from the aluminum of the drive shaft hitting the back of the tail shaft piece on the transmission. So we'll get that changed, we'll get the transmission clean, flush all that, put the new clutch kit on it, and we'll see if that helps this car, see if we can get it on the road and get me a drift car going for this weekend. I still got to put seats in it. I have the seats and the brackets and sliders and all that, but I need to see if I can get them all in. But all right, either way, we're working on that. I sold the CRV cash money, so that's one less thing I'm dealing with right now. So that's gone. I did tell that guy that I'd get inner and outer tie rods and struts and get them ordered, and I would change that as part of the deal. I'm gonna give it a once over with the suspension and the steering and get an alignment. So try to do the right thing, you know. But I'm gonna make money. You know, I'm not gonna lose on that. So I felt that was fair. You know, and me making the car a good drivable, decent you know, with everything that was wrong with it, I'm gonna remedy that. So, yeah, so I'll end up working on the CRV again, but it's sold. I already got the money, he's got the title, and I'll order the parts and get them here and put them on for him, so, and then get that alignment. But we're gonna move on with the clutch, try to get that in. I got some rental issues that I've got a guy who works for me is gonna deal with tomorrow. Hopefully I can stay on this and probably get to painting the other rental up here and try to get this done and start on that. So, all right, here we go. All right, so we got the transmission back in. I did have to clean it. It was pretty nasty. I pressure washed it. The back, let me get a light here and I'll show you. All right, so the back of the transmission, I guess maybe this aluminum drive shaft was too long or whatever. And so this coupling come all the way up here. I don't have it out of gear, but it was eating the outside edge of that aluminum. So I took my Sawzall and I cut that boot off, you know, and shortened it. It was just a guess. I didn't know. I didn't have anything to measure by. But I cut that thing off because it was just killing the drive shaft. So got that on there. The rear diff, this thing, when I drained the rear diff, there was a ton of metal shavings on that fluid. Hadn't been changed in forever. The transmission, I had to actually vacuum it out. The bottom plug on it is just hung up. I couldn't get it off. The side plug, I struggled to get it, but I finally got it loose. But the bottom one, it's gonna strip or break or something. And so, I guess I just run it for a few, you know, days or maybe this weekend and slosh all the stuff around. Where it was grinding the drive shaft, it was spitting all the shavings and the dust into the transmission. So it's sucking it all into the transmission itself. So I went ahead and cut that piece off and cleaned the end of the tail shaft and went ahead and put all new diff fluid or transmission fluid, pulled everything apart best I could and vacuumed it out, tried to open a couple of different passages and vacuum any kind of trash out because I can't get that bottom open, I can't let it drain, so I got to figure that out somehow, some way. It's wanting to round everything off. But it being aluminum, that's just crazy that it's that tight. So we got everything mounted back in. It's got the cheap exhaust there. We could use probably some RTV on some gaskets or something, or, you know, put some gaskets in this thing. Everything else is just, this thing's absolutely filthy. The oil, when I drained the oil, it was, I mean, it's horrible. This car has not been maintained, and I wouldn't be surprised if I end up putting a motor in this thing or a transmission or something at some point. Yeah, this car has not been maintained. The rear diff was full of metal. There's so much garbage come out of that. It's surprising that it still functions. So we may take it down the road and this rear diff gone, but the wheels turned and everything after we changed the clutch, and it had a issue where it kept trying to pull. I guess the pressure plate was bad. We got it out and you could tell the fingers on the pressure plate didn't have a rise and they were like more flat. Well, and that clutch kit that was on it looked more like a cheap knockoff eBay clutch. It was a 6-puck, but I think it was just a cheap clutch. Somebody just put this swap back in this car after that SR blew up, is what I was told, and it's just all scrap drivetrain, I think. But we'll take care of it, and if need be, I have to, you know, get a motor or a transmission. I will. I have an S chassis now, so I mean, there's things to buy, and if it blows up, hey, swap it. You know, who's to say what we do with it? But you know, why not maintain it while I got it? You know what I mean? Grab this thing and I change the oil. We'll go and we'll drive it a few days. We'll change the oil again because it was pretty nasty. I actually ran out of oil, so I got to get some oil. Luckily I had enough to do this one. I just put a cheaper oil in the transmission to kind of shuffle it around and move some of the trash around in there, and we may drift it this weekend if I can get it where I feel comfortable driving it, or it's roadworthy, or at least you know, I know there's no temperature sensor. I can't, I'm not sure where the temperature sensor lives on these, but it's getting late. I've already buttoned this thing up. We got it running. Shifts gears way better. It's got a short shifter, and you can feel that thing's pretty tight. So I think that's the contributing factor to any kind of, you know, hard shifting that I feel now. But see, I don't know if it's got good wheel bearings. I don't know if the wheel's about to fall off. Everything feels pretty tight, surprisingly, but it's supposed to have the what you call them, the Z32 brakes. Pretty sure it does in the front. I don't know what they look like, but that's what I was told. I've not researched it just yet. I really know that it does. I don't know what I'm looking at. Seems possible the spindles may be changed, and the lower control arms look a little like they don't belong in this car either. But anyway, it's got R100 Sparco seats that come with it. It has the brackets, it has the sliders, it has everything. So all that was on it, on top of the Cusco suspension, the Tane stabilizer bars, I guess, for the front, and the ISR upper control arms on the back, and the shifter. I don't know that it's it looks like two upside down L's on that, and I'm not sure what that brand is, or if that's a good brand or not. I really don't know. So I'm going to check into that, try to figure this out. And I don't know if the transmission is just a factory transmission. I don't know if it's just a whatever. Looks kind of like there's some different mounting points on this thing, like it could have come out of something else and somebody bought maybe a different type of transmission mount. I'm not really sure, so I gotta learn what I've got right now. The main concern was it's a S chassis, and it's got some upgrades on it. So considering the shocks and the the parts it does have, the seats and all that, I don't feel like I've lost on this trade. Trading my G35 dollar for dollar. I don't feel like I'm upside down in this trade, because I got to keep my wheels too. So you got to consider that. And I don't know if they'll fit this car. If they don't, we'll just sell them and then buy some more drift parts. So, but yeah, it was poorly maintained. That's a big thing. So I don't know that I don't have a whining transmission or a rear end that's about to go out, or the motor may not last. I'm not really sure, because it has not been taken care of at all. None of this stuff. So going from there, I did change the rear diff, transmission oil, and the actual oil in the car. So maybe that'll prolong any kind of issues we may have by just doing some maintenance, but they were pretty bad. But we'll stay on top of it, and if it fails, it fails. We'll try to replace the parts that go bad, but who knows. All right, here we go. All right, so I hadn't filmed a lot on the 240 since I got the thing. I've been working on it. I've been trying wheels, changed the clutch out, all the fluids. Started draining the radiator just for the heck of it, just to flush it out, but I jumped to something that has to be done. And then after this weekend, I'll go to things that I want to do, or that I figure out that it needs. But I've been working. Finally got a seat installed. This one's just for this weekend. It's a little tight, not quite wide enough. I don't have any harnesses, so I'll get all that figured out. What I'm dealing with right now, the steering wheel was a little janky, kind of moved around. Well, but that blame, and I just barely turned it a second ago, the nut on this thing is actually, it's loose. So like the nut's loose on here. So I've got to tighten that thing up, then put all the Allen heads back in it. But this thing was just janky as can be. I'll probably get rid of this steering wheel setup. I'll probably get a different one. And my son may end up with these seats. They're way too tall. There's no way these seats will work in this car. They're too tall. So if you're short and you end up with an S chassis, 240, S14, whatever you want to call it, these Sparcos I think they're like the R100s or something. They're super thick from bottom to top. So if you end up, if you're a short person or, you know, short-legged or whatever, those would be great for this chassis. If you're tall like me, no way, that's horrible. I've sifted through, whoever had this car before me, man, they have bought mounts and brackets and mounts and brackets and mounts on top of brackets. There's probably, we got these 2 seats, there's $330 a piece. They're useless in this car. You have 2 Sparco mounts, both sides, and sliders, both sides. An actual fixed Sparco bracket on that one, and the planted driver's side mounts for this seat. I mean, that's 1, 2, 4 whole seat bracket systems for 2 seats. And I finally, with this setup, my son's NRG side mounted brackets, there was enough cutouts on the sides to use the Sparco brackets without without the sliders is what I end up. So this is the actual thin, low profile Sparco minus the sliders. So the sliders aren't on it, it's fixed, and there was enough options on the cutouts to mount this seat fairly reasonable. And I'm gonna try to get a wider seat. This, I think it's a medium, and I'm fat, so we're going to, I'll try to order another seat after this weekend, but this will get me to the track. This car might need a lot as far as drivetrain, wiring harness. I think it's going to end up with some things I may end up needing. I really don't know yet. I'll get to know the car as time progresses. I just know for a tall person, this is a horrible, horrible choice of seats. The Sparcos were, there's no way. Like, I mean, my head was touching, much less with a helmet on. And I think I'll be okay with a helmet on with this setup. So, like I say, the fixed NRG, I don't remember what series this seat is. So whatever this series seat is, with the NRG regular mounts, I guess, the side brackets, and what else? Yeah, and the Sparco, the base, the actual bracket, the mount, not the sliders. And I'll probably do the NRG hub and try to get me a different steering wheel too. So I don't like this hub because it's got this hub. All right, on the top of it, right there, you have to push a button down. So I'll give you the, well, I can't do it right now because I'm working on the seat. All right, so most of your newer steering wheels, you just reach and grab and pull towards you, the little disc, and slide it towards you, pops right off. This one you have to push a thing down in the middle, then pull, so you have to simultaneously hold that down and slide that collar up for it to disconnect. If your car catches on fire or if you crash, there's no way your mind's gonna slow you down enough to push that little button and hold it and slide that forward if your car caught on fire and you try to get out. So as tight as this is for me, I'm not gonna be okay and comfortable with knowing I have to do that in case something went south in this car. So, in my opinion, I would want one with just the pull the collar and it unlocks. So I think that's what I'm gonna go to. My son's got the NRG with the sliding collar. I think that's way better. So that's what I'm gonna go to. But either way, I've got to tighten this steering piece. I slapped some 18s on just to burn them off. It's probably too big. They're chrome, they're kind of heavy for this factory KA motor, but we'll get to know the car this weekend a little bit. I'll take some 16s with me and we'll play and see what we can come up with as far as the way it feels. But I think we're going drifting in it this weekend. I think we'll be able to. I hope. I'm still tinkering with it. I may drive it some to see what it's going to need, but we'll see. But this is my S chassis. Hadn't named him yet. Hadn't put no stickers on him yet. The glass is good. door panels are less than desired and they're kind of janky. It's not horrible though, it's not horrible. So it's got some dents and dings and whatnot, but pretty stoked about it. The dash is wrapped with some kind of vinyl. I don't know if it's cracked or not, but it's wrapped with something. But alright, here we go. Alright, I tinkered around with the 240 all I could. I just don't think I'm going to be able to put the passenger seat in. I don't have enough hardware. If I get another seat, the NRG seat will go, I have enough to put it in over there, but where the Sparcos bolt from the bottom and they don't bolt at all from the sides, that completely changes the layout of everything. If I had another NRG seat with the NRG brackets, I could definitely put it in. So what I'll probably do, if my son ends up wanting these Sparcos, I'll end up ordering a wider NRG and putting it in here and moving this one over to the passenger side. So that way I'll have a pair of seats in there, and probably have to get some harnesses at some point, but not sure what I'm gonna get. And I'm in no hurry. I do at least need a seat to be able to fit in the car, I guess would be the main goal. So, alright, I think I'm done for the day. Tomorrow, I gotta get in here and I guess get it loaded up. Get some tires changed over. Maybe, I think that's all I gotta do. But alright, we'll be back at it again tomorrow and we'll try to get something figured out here. Alright, here we go.
I'm feeling high. I'm feeling high. I'm feeling I'm feeling